Hey everyone, this video is a preview video of today's game between the San Francisco 49ers at the Washington Redskins. And I had my found my Jeff Garcia jersey that I haven't seen in a long time. And I put it on. I like Jeff Garcia. I've always thought he was one of our best quarterbacks we've had in franchise history. Um, um, but um, but looking at this game, getting to the game now, it does kind of concern me. Now I know you probably saying, "What are you talking about?" I mean, come on, we're playing against an easy team. Listen, in football, anything can happen on any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. Um, because for instance, today it's raining in Washington D.C. and it's going to continue to rain up until 7 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be raining all day there, and and so that means it's going to be a slippery ball. That means turnovers can occur, and if odds say that we are to blow them out, and it's true. We're a much better team than they are. We should blow them out, but because of it being a wet field and everything, probably the only saving grace that the Washington Redskins have is a sloppy field. With possible turnovers. From us. If the ball squirts out of there, or somebody drops the pass or whatever, that would be the Washington Redskins' only saving grace in this one. So when we go into this game, we have to keep that in mind. Our players have to keep that in mind, that it's wet, and if you don't hold on to the ball well enough, it's going to come out. Protect the football. I don't care who you're playing. You must protect that football. You know, um, these kind of games where it's rainy. Rainy games always make me nervous because I know that these are the kind of games where a lot of turnovers can occur, important drop passes can happen, injuries can happen. Um, so rainy games always make me a little nervous. And I know that odds say that we should blow this team out, but I'm telling you what, weather conditions could be, might have a different say about it. I mean, we'll just see what happens. Um, but we have to protect that football, and we need to keep in mind that yes, they're wet elements, and we need to protect the football better. Also, another thing too is I know that I've heard people say that they're expecting Jimmy Garoppolo to probably have a breakout game because the Redskins don't have a very good defense. They give up a lot of yards. They've given up a lot of points. Therefore, Jimmy G should have a big day. But here's the thing, though, because of the rain and the weather, the weather elements, he may not have that big day. I mean, I know the Redskins don't have a very good defense, but sometimes rain can dictate the performance of an offense. There's always the possibilities of turnovers. The ball gets wet, and sometimes it's hard to throw it. Um, it's just So, and here's another thing too, is that when it's a rainy game, head coaches generally favor running the football over passing it. When it's a wet day, they rather run the ball than pass it. And so this may not be that 300-yard day that Jimmy Garoppolo has. I mean, 300-yard day. Um, but we'll see how this plays out. I'm a little bit nervous of this game because I just have this feeling, of it being a trap game. That kind of you come off a big, huge win off a team that is defending conference champions, the Rams, or defending NFC conference champions, the Rams, and then you go into a place like Washington D.C. to play a Redskin team that's only got one win to their name, and they only beat another bad team only by 1 point. So you're saying this ought to be a breeze, this ought to be easy. You can't have that kind of attitude going in there. Um, Complacency can be a killer. So I think that when we go in there, we have to play them like we're playing against a great team. And that, I mean, go in there and play them like this is a very important game, and this opponent is dangerous. I mean, that may not be the case, but you still have to have that kind of mindset to ensure yourself a victory. And protecting the football in this game is going to be very important. Because like I said, turnovers. If we turn the ball over, that could be their only saving grace. So, so I think that what we got to do is we got to protect that football, and our guys when they go out there, they got to hold on to that ball. Keep in mind in wet conditions, and fumbles are possible, so they got to hold on to that ball. Um, because it's important to win every game. It really is because you know right now we have the Seattle Seahawks that are breathing down our throat right now. They are just waiting for us to lose a game because they want to take command of this division race. So we have to go out and win as many games as we can. Because think about this scenario. Suppose we lose one of these games up until and let's say we lose one of these games leading up to the Seahawk game, right? And then we play the Seahawks and we lose to the Seahawks. Then we're going to be down. They're going to have a cushion on us, and we can't afford that. This is a tight race. They want this division just as much as we do, and that's why it's important for us when we play these teams like the Washington Redskins, like we are going to today, and these other teams down the road. We've got to keep winning. We're in the race right now. We're in a very, very tight race, and so got to win that game today. No, none of this, complacency stuff and fumbles. Got to protect the football. That's really important. Um, and I understand that Jimmy Garoppolo, or no, excuse me, John Lynch, no, Kyle Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan has had a bit of a history with the Washington Redskins. He and his father worked there in Washington, and I guess he's had some bad experiences there with the ownership and management. And some people feel that this might be like a revenge game. Well, I hope they do. I hope they take that kind of mentality into this game because you need something, to just so complacency doesn't show its ugly head, you know. But yeah, that's going to be important. We got to go in there and we got to play these guys tough. I don't care who they are. I don't care what their record is or whatever. You when you're playing a game, you can't not think about how easy the other team is. Keep in mind that you got to go in there and you got to take care of business. Speaking of the 49ers and the Redskins, the 49ers and the Redskins have always had a very very rival kind of history, especially in the 1980s. They've been to the Super Bowl a lot. We've been to the Super Bowl a lot, and it was kind of that way right up until the early 90s too. So when I think we played them twice during that era, I think in the playoffs. So you know, it's always been a pretty close rivalry with them. The Washington Redskins, but it it's gonna be an interesting game. As far as the weather goes. I know you're probably looking at me and you're probably saying, "Man, what's wrong with you, man? We're gonna win this game today. We're gonna blow them out." Listen, I've seen games. I've watched this sport long enough to know that weird things happen. I've seen it. I've seen it all the time. And I'm telling you right now, we gotta go in this game and we gotta play good sound football. Cannot go in there and you know lollygag around. We got to go in there and take this thing. Because I usually look at history as a blueprint. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, I remember when the 49ers back in '87 they had home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and it was a rainy day. The Minnesota Vikings come to Candlestick Park and pull off one of the biggest playoff upsets ever in the history of the game. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings were a terrible team that year. They were kind of up and down. They backed into the playoffs mathematically, and they would go into Candlestick Park and they destroyed 49ers. Great year that they were having. So and that was on a rainy day. So I'm just saying, we got to go in there. We got to not lollygag around with this team. I just get this feeling, that it's going to be a kind of a lollygagging day. I don't know why. Like kind of bum luck kind of stuff happening, turnovers, stupid penalties, maybe an injury. I don't know. I just feel that from this game. But we got to take care of business. We got to go in there and go in there like we really want to win it. A loss today would be bad. It would be very, very bad. For one thing, we would lose respect. People would laugh. People would say, wait a minute, these 49ers are telling us that they're the real deal, and yet they lose to one of the worst teams in the league. What's going on here? If you want us to talk about you, you got to go out and you got to beat teams like this. you know, um, and and another thing too is if you lose and the Seahawks win today, the Seahawks jump in front of us in first place. A lot of bad things could come out of this losing today against the Washington Redskins. It would be a terrible, terrible situation. Um, and I don't know. I just get a bad feeling about this game. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe I'm just too paranoid, but I just get that feeling. But anyways, that's all I wanted to talk to you about. I think we can win this game. I believe we'll win this game, but we just have to not make mistakes. We have to take care of the football, protect the football, and not turn it over. Don't have dumb penalties. I know the team that we're playing is not a powerhouse, but keep in mind that the reason why upsets happen is sometimes, yes, the weather plays a part in that, but also mental errors, turnovers, stupid penalties. Those kinds of things can change a football game. And so we're just going to have to go in there and be as focused and ready to play as possible. And so that's all I want to say. I'll do a video later today, after the game, and we'll talk about what happened. So everybody, until that time, and have a good day and enjoy the game.